Alright guys, welcome today to our lesson on combo boxes. If you're wondering what lesson we're on, the day before we were doing using object arrays, and today we're focusing on section 11, working with combo boxes. These are some of the ideas we're going to cover today. Some we won't do in detail. The most important ones, the very beginning ones, we're going to do in quite a bit of detail. Now, what's a combo box? What's it going to look like? How is it useful? This that you're looking at right now is what you're eventually going to do as a little assignment after my lesson. Basically, a combo box gives you a choice of things to pick from. When you pick them, sometimes text will pop up in a certain spot, or in the case that I'm going to do with you right now, you're going to click on them and have different people's faces show up. Now, I just got these three people. These were politicians. You can do whatever you want. The most important part is that when you pick them, you're going to see three possible images show up there. Okay, so that's going to be our final objective. Now to work out how that goes to be in a JavaScript type program. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning here. First example we're going to do is very theoretical. It's not really practical at all, but it'll just give you an idea of how things work. Let me preview it for a second. So when you make one of these, which is called a combo box, and you press a choice, whatever that choice is, there's all kinds of properties and conditions associated with it. So for instance, I picked choice 2 here. Show me the text. Choice 1. Oh. Right. I picked this one. Ah, that one worked. Okay, so what I'm saying here is we're going to have to figure out a general way to do this. This just showed me the text of the first choice. Showed me the value of the first choice. The only one that was any good to me was this last one. This showed me the index of this choice. Remember, it's almost like arrays. Arrays start at 0. So this is the second one. This is really index 1. Let me show you another example. So this last one looked like the only good one. So number 4, I bet you that says number 3. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on behind the scenes here. So first thing is, how do you do these things called combo boxes? Let me just sneak down here for a second to show you where it is. It's in the form stuff right there, right? And it's this guy right here. When you press it, you end up with the thing called select, and then in the middle are your options, and your options are where you're going to write down all the different things. This thing in here will be the actual word you see when the person clicks down on the combo box. This is the value. This is what you might want to use for some sort of math thing, or it might be a color, so that when you choose that, it actually goes to red or green or blue. That's really the more important value that we're going to use. Okay, so that's basically how you make it. Now, what was all that stuff when we were pressing it was doing? Well, when I picked choice 3 or whatever, it never told me that. What this first one does is basically, now look, it's kind of weird though. Document, George. Okay, so that's George right there. Example. That's example right there. So that's that naming convention we learned before. This is the new thing. Options 0, which means this is option 0, even though it's the first one, however, it starts at 0, dot text. So when I pressed that first button, it told me what was in there as the text. And I'll show it to you again now. Maybe it'll make more sense. And again, I'll pick something down here at the bottom, which is not what this button's going to do. It's just going to show me choice 1. Okay? So that's how you would pick what is there in that position. Second one, same thing, but value. So it gave me the value, which would be 1 for option 0. Third one just tells me the length. And if you didn't remember the answer to that one, 4. There's 4 things. That's the length, right? This last one is the weirdest one, but it's the most important. Selected index. So what this is doing is saying, I'll tell you the position of whatever the guy picked, anything he picked. Okay, so now we can use that power and apply it to anything. Now watch, I can do some crazy thing here. I'm going to take all of this, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to stick it, well, I'll do it in 2 places. See how it says 0 there? It only worked for 0. Now if I paste that in there, now whatever I'm on, it'll tell me the value. Now here's what I mean by that. Now watch. So I pick on number 3. It says I picked number 3. If I pick number 2, it tells me 2. Hey, I like that. Okay, before it only would show me the first choice. Now it works for anything. So the way you work with combo boxes, so they work with anything, and then you can use that for some, neat thing that you want to develop. It's pretty ugly. You write all of that, options, and then where that used to be a number, you take all of this. So I don't expect you to memorize it. You're going to look at it on the test or whatever. You take all of that and put it in there, and that's the selected index. Okay. So let's try to use some of this to do something useful. Okay. So let's go to the next question, which is combo problem. All right. So I'll pop this up, and this has potential, and we're going to do something neat with it in a second. So this one here, there's different colors that you can pick, and when you press this button, I basically tell you what you picked. Whoopee. But watch, we're going to use that in a second and do something useful with it. Let's take a look at the code. All right, so you got a form again. You gave this name a form called Combo Colors. Then the selection was named Pick. All right, and then these are the values and what you want to say. Now, if you realize that there's a button here, right? So remember, when you make forms, there's all kinds of buttons. There's a regular form button, there's submit button. Now in this particular one, you should realize that I used the form button, just a regular button, not the submit one, not that one. I picked that one. Okay, anyway, there it is down here. Okay, this is the word that it said, choose color, and here's the most important line. On click, do something. And I basically wanted to show you what you picked. So it's kind of long, remember, document, combo colors, that's where that comes from. Pick comes from that. There's this new word, options, and then square bracket, and then basically you repeat all those things again, except you say selected index dot value, and that'll give you one of these words, red, blue, green, and orange. Now we did kind of something boring here. Why don't we actually have the screen change colors? Now that involves a little bit of stuff we learned before. Let's see if we can do it very quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to make a function. So that means I got to use pure JavaScript. So I got to click on script, click there. I'll just click OK really fast. I just need something in there. Now, if you remember the stuff we did before, you're going to go function. I'm going to call it COL for colors, and I'm going to have it pick a color. So it's going to be past that value. All right. And basically, I think you go document.bg color equals C. And see where it says alert here? I'm going to rub that out. And instead of just print note something, actually let's make it do something. So COL. So basically, when you hit COL, the computer's going to go up here to this function. It's going to be past something. That something is this huge, ugly, long thing. But you know what that huge, ugly, long thing is going to be when you pick a color? It's going to be one of these words, red, blue, green, or orange, because those are the values. And this is selected index. So whatever you click on, it'll know it, send that eventually color, one of those 4, red, blue, green, and orange, to there. Let's see if it actually works. Okay. Very nice. Very cool. There it is. Okay, so now you've taken kind of a bland, simple program and you've improved on it. So we're getting better and better. Okay, so now let's continue. Let's do some other neat things. All right, so next one I want to show you, preview it first. Okay, now what I'd like to do is go places. All right, so we've done something on the screen. You need to click on something and actually go to it. Let's see what's going on at CNN. Okay, so only difference in this one is we're going to use this command called document location. We're going to make another function again because that's the cool way to do things, and then we're going to have it go somewhere instead. So let's take a look at the actual combo box first. In this one, you notice these are the pretty words that people are going to see, but the real nitty-gritty stuff is always the value. Okay, and the last one we had colors. This one we have web addresses, and again we use a button. And we don't use, and I'll remind you again because you might want to use a button, we don't use those submit buttons. Okay, that one. Don't use that one. It doesn't seem to work. You got to use this one for this kind of stuff. Okay, and then this is the name of it. Okay, not a big deal, but you're going to see where it comes in a second. And then on click, you go to this function. Now remember, George, example 1, and then you go from there. Okay, so watch. Document, George, example 1, options, and then document, George, example, then selected index.value. So that will say one of these words, CNET, CNN, GeoCities, and then it'll go to that location, and it's just that easy. Okay, now you might notice, hey, there's a button here too, sir. What's with that? Well, remember, these guys don't actually go anywhere until I tell them to. We're going to fix that problem in my next step. Next example, okay, it's the same one, except this time you can change the color or do an image. That's kind of cool, but that's an image. That's not a form, so how are we going to handle that? So the only difference here you're going to notice, okay, we did a link this time. We didn't do a form. So this is actually, that little thing there is like an image link. So you click on the chain link basically when you do it. Okay, and I'll put myself right there. You click on the chain link, and I'll just put a number sign right here right now. And then you put in the middle of that your picture. Okay, and where it says reference, what you're going to do is use this special new command called Javascript Go, because there's no thing like on click or something like that. So that's the only difference in this one. It's kind of cool. It does exactly the same thing. All right, let's continue into the home stretch here. New JavaScript combo, and we're looking at one number 5 now. Okay, so actually we don't have to load it up. I've got it down here at the bottom, and I'll quickly show it to you. This one, hey, it goes there right away. That's cool. You don't even have to click on the button if you don't want to. You just still click on the button if you want, because at the first one, really, it doesn't, like, you don't switch to anything, so you have to use it for the first one, but for everything else, you don't. Here's the big change there. At the very top, where you do the select, I threw in this extra word now, on change. So the instant it changes to something else, it goes up here and goes to the new location. All right, and that's why, like the first one, you don't really change to it. So if you wanted to go to CNET, you'd have to click this right away. The other ones, you do change to it. Let me go back. You do change to this. Okay, so it doesn't matter. But basically, this allows you to click the first one because you couldn't do it any other way. Okay, so to finish up, all right, there's all kinds of neat things we're doing here. All right, so the last one I want to show you, this keto combo. All right, we're going to click on preview. It's kind of neat. There's all these different colors, and these are actual colors. You can change to that, and this is something like we just did a few minutes ago when I was just sort of freelancing it. The only difference is in this one, it uses that last idea I showed you, which was this thing called on change. All right, and then this one, you notice it doesn't have any of that other stuff with the inside part. It basically took not the value but the text. So that's different, but it still works. You don't have to always use value. You can use whatever you want, or you can use text or value. So I happen to have those right there in front of me. Okay, and now some hints for your assignment. Now, what you're going to do when you do your assignment, you remember me showing you before, you're going to basically have a combo box. When it presses on one of the people's names, it's going to make an image show up somewhere around there. Okay, now at the beginning there shouldn't be any image there at all, but actually there is. You should just have a blank image. Okay, just find a blank image, draw a blank image in Fireworks, whatever you want to do, but there's going to be a blank image. So actually in this assignment there's going to be 4 images. 3 of them are going to be like of actual things, whatever you guys want to do, and the last one will be a blank image, which will be the first one that you start off with. So as you click on these, it'll replace the blank image with something else. Now, other things you need to know. We've used in the functions things like document.bgcolor, we've used document.location, and in this assignment you're going to use document.picture. There's the big hint. Good luck. Have it done for Monday, and we'll see it on a moto.